Hey everybody, Eric here with another unboxing video. Look, there's a box. So, there's going to be a bit of a cheat because I ordered 6 books and 2 of them arrived on Tuesday and I already opened that package. But I'm going to open this one for you and then I'll show you the other 2. Have my trusty X-Acto knife. And here we go. Cutting it open. Pretty exciting for you, I know. La 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 la. There we go. Alright. Put the knife away. Let's pop some bubble wrap. Okay, here we go. The first thing we have is something that might seem a little odd, but it is The Trailsman, number 391, Night Terror, by John Sharp. This is a Western, obviously, from the look of it. And if you saw my Gestapo Mars review, I mentioned that book reminded me of some old sort of men's adventure books from the 70s and 80s and 90s. And The Trailsman was one of those series. It's a Western with lots of sex and violence. And let's see, the copyright on this one is 2014. So they've been coming out for a long time, obviously. Number 391. And I just wanted to see if these were as cheesy as I recalled. And this one seemed interesting, you know, Night Terror. Seems like an interesting title. So, there we go. I've got a Western book there. Let's set that aside. Next we have Sherlock Holmes, Cry of the Innocents by Cavan Scott. And this is from, I believe it's Titan Books. Now, there are lots of Sherlock Holmes books coming out all the time, and I can't keep up with all of them. I don't know that I'd want to keep up with all of them, but I do like Sherlock Holmes. And so there's quite a few books. I don't want to call this a series, but the covers are the same, the fonts, everything. So it's kind of a set, maybe you could call it. And I went with this because Guy Adams wrote the first one. And you've got George Mann, James Lovegrove, some other folks whose names I can't think of off the top of my head. I was glancing over at I have a stack of them over there. And they're kind of dark and moody. I like what they do. The first one had a bunch of literary characters from other authors mixed in, and they were all sort of supernatural related characters. The second one had tied in with the Island of Dr. Moreau. I believe there's a Dracula one, a Frankenstein one, because I haven't even read all of them yet. I know there's a steampunk kind of one. So I do like this particular set. Like I said, a bunch of different authors, but this is one of the newer ones. I think there's actually another new one that just came out, or will be out shortly. So I'll be picking that up soon. But Sherlock Holmes, Cry of the Innocents. Looking forward to that. This is such a wonderful cover. Oh man, I love this cover. This is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Quirk Books, it looks like, is the publisher. Look at that cover. VHS. It's got a little sticker on it. A couple little stickers. Looks like an old VHS box. Grady Hendrix, I just recently read his nonfiction book, Paperbacks from Hell, which I will be reviewing. And that's all about the paperbacks of the 70s and 80s into the 90s. Well, I won't say anything. I'll leave it for my review. But I decided to try his fiction, and it was also recommended by Adam Cesare in one of his videos. He has black t-shirt videos where he reviews movies and recommends a book that sort of fits into the theme of the movie. Sometimes he reviews just does book reviews, but usually it's movies and then a book recommendation. And this was one of the books that he had mentioned, and I would have gotten it just for that cover alone. I absolutely love that cover. I'm looking forward to jumping onto this. Onto it, into it. And then finally in the box, we have Skitter, a novel by Ezekiel Boone. And this is the sequel to The Hatching, and I reviewed that. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched the review yet, it didn't really have an ending. I mean, it kind of had an ending, but it didn't. And I compared it to if The Empire Strikes Back was the first Star Wars movie that ever came out, and there had never been mention of a sequel or anything, that ending would be kind of crazy and leave you wondering what the hell's going to happen. And that's kind of how I felt when I finished The Hatching, because it has this open-ended, cliffhanger-ish ending. And when it first came out, as far as I know, there's nothing in the book that mentions, well, the very, very last page mentions this book, but nowhere on the cover does it say book 1. When I bought it, I had no idea that it was going to. You have to, if you want the whole story, you're going to have to read this. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to jump right ahead, go into the back page, and it looks like there's going to be another one. So I assume the story's going to continue, that this won't have a real ending. We'll see, but The Hatching, I really, really enjoyed it. Great killer spider horror story. So I'm looking forward to this. Finally got the sequel. Alright, so that's the 4 books that were in that box. And then the 2 that came the other day. Again, very excited about these. First, we have School's Out by Brian Keene. And this is actually, it says, a book for immediate, pardon me, and I'm looking right at it, a book for intermediate to adult readers. It doesn't matter though, it's Brian Keene, so I'm going to buy it, I'm going to read it. And it's sort of a, well, I guess a post-apocalyptic story about a kid. So this kid, if I remember, there's nothing on the back for me to look at, but basically it's a kid trying to survive on his own after some sort of apocalypse. I don't know what kind, but should be interesting. Again, it's Brian Keene, so I'm 99.999% guaranteed to enjoy it. And then finally, another sequel, part of a trilogy, maybe more, but it's Killing Is My Business by Adam Christopher. I did review the first book, Made to Kill, and these books are, let's say, well, as he describes it, basically science fiction as written by Raymond Chandler. The main character is Raymond Electromatic. He is the last robot, even though it's the 50s. He's the last robot. There used to be robots, and now he's the last one. And he's a private detective who used to be a hit robot. So the first book, really good. It's very Raymond Chandler-esque, but with a science fiction spin on it, with obviously robots and some ray guns and other wild things. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. So I really enjoyed the first one. Again, I reviewed that. I don't know if I'm going to put links for all these things that I've already reviewed. You can just go to my channel and check them out if you're interested. But so that's the last book in this purchase, Killing Is My Business by Adam Christopher. This is another one from Titan Books. So not a huge haul, but a really, really interesting haul. An interesting mix of things, I think. I mean, I've got mysteries and horror and a western and some science fiction in there. So Should be some good reading. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm already planning another purchase from Amazon because a couple things just came out. Like a week after I placed this order, some new stuff that I absolutely want came out. So there'll be another unboxing video coming relatively soon, probably within the next few weeks. So that's it. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Normally I'd say comments are open for spoilers, but we're talking about books I haven't read yet, so there's nothing to spoil. Please, if you have read these, don't spoil them for me, please. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's it for this unboxing video. I'm Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.